Alright, so I'm doing a challenge trying to platinum every single game inside of the Ubisoft Plus game catalog on PlayStation. And if I can't do it before we hit 690,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I have to tattoo the platinum logo somewhere on my body. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Another day, another platinum, and today I lost it even more than I expected to. I am no longer human. Something more, probably worse after this. Riders Republic, a game loved by many and all, except for Mitch Carnduff. But with a name like that, I would probably hate things also. The Platinum Trophy for Riders Republic only contains 35 trophies, including the Platinum. The game is a lot like Steep, which I did a hot minute ago within this Ubisoft challenge, and I'm afraid to say that today was somehow worse than that one. The main reason being all of these wonderful Play 50 match trophies. Not only are these game modes considerably dead in 2024, but the trophies themselves also don't track perfectly, meaning you have to play way more matches than it says, and tracking them yourself is almost impossible. But the first stage towards my inevitable downfall into insanity is just play through the game's main story, which is directed through completing all of the missions for bike races, snow races, and air races. Also the trick versions of them in addition. This contains around a total of 10 trophies just by themselves without any other ones gotten on the way. During the time playing through these, by the way, you also should stop and do mass races whenever possible because you need to do 50 total and they only appear every 30 minutes or so, which is almost as sad as Dr. Disrespect leaving his $1 million job for a 17-year-old girl when he's 40. Oh my god! So without further ado, let us begin this crawl into insanity once more. Ubisoft, I hate you. The first trophy gotten in the game is of course the intro trophy. The intro for Riders Republic is very similar to Steep and so many other Ubisoft games. You real fast just get to go do everything possible in the game so you can see and get a little bit excited in your panties for what is to come next. We got to ski, we got to ride bikes, and we even got to change our gender without restriction, which is a Democrat politician's wet dream. I, however, chose to stay a straight male and just made myself green because freedom. And after that character creation, we got let loose into the world. A great mistake, but it did close up the intro sequence, and here's the intro trophy. The next trophy I would get actually took me a giant old 30 minutes to get. It's called New Hire, and it's from adding my first sponsor in the game. And no, not the AA meeting kind of sponsor. More like the YouTube influencer sponsor where they give you things in return for promotion. And Riders Republic sponsors give you contracts to complete, and you actually have to do 100 of them for a trophy later on, which is actually quite a bit of a grind. But for now, I got the trophy for just equipping one after finishing enough missions and getting a high enough star level to unlock it. And speaking of sponsors, I want to say thank you to Raycon for sponsoring this video. So I spend all day playing games, and I actually don't use headphones at all because they get so uncomfortable no matter how expensive or good they claim to be. Which is why when the legends at Raycon sent me over their earbuds, I was super excited because they are some of the best quality sounding earbuds I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. And it makes playing games all day ever so much more easy and fun. The upgraded everyday earbuds offer everything previously loved about Raycon and more because they just added a new ergonomic design and multi-point connectivity, which sounds fancy, but that just means it can connect to multiple devices at once. And obviously there is noise canceling in addition because who wants to hear their girlfriend yell at them to get off the game for the 7th time, am I right? Raycon also offers the earbuds in multiple different colors, so if you're not a fan of black like I am, then you have other choices at your disposal. There's a 32-hour battery life on the earbuds, and you can charge for 10 minutes and get back 90 minutes of battery. If that isn't math, I don't know what is. Raycon also offers a 30-day happiness guarantee, so what are you waiting for? See what all the fuss is about and use my link buyraycon.com/illusion in the description to get 15% off your Raycon purchase and free shipping. Thank you once more to Raycon for sponsoring this video and enjoy the rest. Alright, back to the trophies. Next up was called So Crazy, and it's gotten from completing a weekly challenge. Yes, this game has those because Ubisoft loves making games with seasons in them. I'm not sure why this game has that feature also, but it unfortunately does. There was also a trophy gotten for completing 10 weekly challenges in addition, and you're probably wondering, 10? Huh, that sounds like it takes more than a week to do. And you'd be right, there's only 7 a week. God, Ubisoft, damn you. Anyways, I'm actually completely unsure what the weekly challenge I completed was because I'd never looked at them since it's so early in the game. I was just playing it to figure out what the hell is going on because I have no clue. But it really doesn't matter, so there's the trophy. And Riders Republic is a lot like Steep, where you don't get a lot of trophies for simple things because almost every trophy is tied to some sort of achievement and it makes you work for it. Which is why I spent an hour after that last trophy without getting absolutely anything in return turn until I completed another mass race and pretty much finished in first place because I'm the GOAT. We all know this. And I leveled up my weekly level all the way to 2. I couldn't figure out a better way to say that, so to 2 was what I came up with. I would then play for another half hour straight doing some normal levels, as you could say, and ended up equipping 25 gear items total throughout the game. This is basically unmissable because you get new gear after almost every race and change gear all the time when you get that better stuff, so there's that trophy pop. I then got super bored of the game because when you don't get trophies actively, the ADHD mind begins to dwindle away and think of other things I could be doing right now that aren't so boring. And to feed my mind in a useful way as to make it get engaged with this game again, I strayed away from the main missions for a hot minute and went after a few trophies you could get at any time. First being called Smooth as a Badger's Bottom. It's not for raising up a baddie as you probably thought, but instead for performing a 1080 spin or superior and landing it on manual landing controls. Manual landing, by the way, is helpful in getting a higher score on tricks, but also helpful in making the human brain lose its because sometimes you just can't quite land a trick no matter how hard you try. But getting the 1080 spin wasn't awful, I just had to find a good location where I could rotate my body in unrealistic proportions because this is a video game and there's a trophy. I also then farmed successful perfect double backflip tricks on manual landing because you need to do 50 of them for a trophy called The Loop is Looped. And I chose to grind this out for 10 minutes straight right after the other trophy simply because my ass was getting folded by gravity so much in races I just couldn't handle it anymore. And after this trophy, I was technically able to just throw that auto landing back on and go about my day in peace. And there is that loopy loop trophy. Speaking of trophies, I would then go on for a few hours with 0 more because as I've said, Riders Republic makes you earn it, you know? I'm gonna gouge my eyes out with a spoon. And the next trophy I got was from getting a grand total of 250 stars within the game. That sounds like a lot, but you get stars for literally everything you do. I think there's even stars for just getting airtime. Hell, they probably give you stars if you buy the deluxe edition of the game and sell your kidney to boost the Ubisoft stock price. But hey, there's the trophy and we were having so much fun. Another hour or so later, I would then finally finish one of the event categories boss level, that being the Snow Tricks one, since that is the path I decided to follow down to its end first. Boss events in this game aren't really anything special, to be honest. Mostly they just have a slightly harder objective, but you can play the entire game through on standard difficulty and it's not hard at all. Especially in comparison to Steep, even playing some of these events on the hardest difficulty becomes easy later on in the game. But for now, I just had to do a bunch of tricks and make my point score the highest. Actually though, for the trophy, you don't even have to win. I don't know why I try anymore. She's not coming back. There's the trophy. So I should probably clarify how these events work in more detail. Each has a boss level, which is a trophy, and also the final level in the event cycle, I guess. But along the way, each type has quite a few big events, which are like boss ones, except they're called big ones. They are the same though. Don't let Ubisoft trick you like they've tricked me. Anyway, since I was doing snow events first before the other ones, I managed to finish 8 big events for my next trophy because I was now on the snow races section that tied into the snow tricks. So there's that trophy right here. And let's take a break real fast. I want you to guess what the next trophy is. Just guess. Take a little ponder. In fact, take away the footage. Let's both just stare at each other. Actually, you're staring at your own face right now. Probably. Unless you're watching this in a dark room, then you're actually just sitting there in the dark. Gotcha. So the next trophy I got was from me finishing the boss event for the snow races. Go ahead, raise your hand if you guessed. Now you just look stupid. Alright, so at this point in the trophy grind, I've spent quite a few hours playing. In fact, the playtime I had at this point is probably longer than I dated my first girlfriend in middle school. What a throwback. Anyways, I ended up finally doing sponsor contracts while doing main story missions to double task them and try to make it a faster game overall. In the process of doing this, I would end up accepting a Red Bull sponsor contract and finishing it, which gave me a trophy. Shout out Red Bull, thanks for kidney stones and bull sperm. Next trophy I would get was then much later after, since I had to go begin the cycle of levels for a new event type, and it takes quite a while to finish those big events and boss event while doing the mass races every half hour like I mentioned previously. But aside from that grind, I have also passively been doing events with funky gear equipped. The funky gear is some side thing in this game, but basically it's just like a weird piece of equipment that is usually funny and usually really bad. There is exceptions though, which sometimes they can be super good, and there's the trophy pop from finishing 50 events with them equipped. I then managed to reach my 8th big event inside of the Bike Careers event list, and upon completing it, I got a trophy for doing 8, of course. But I also got another one called All Access for finishing 100 events total in the game. How cute, a double trophy pop. And within doing these bike careers, I was sort of hopping around back and forth between the bike races and bike tricks, mostly because I wanted to, so I did. And that also meant I got both of their boss events relatively close by each other, and both of the trophies from their boss events would end up popping after I completed them within the same hour of playtime right here. At this point, I finally landed on the final career section of the game in relation to trophies, that being the air careers. These have the wingsuit and rocket wingsuit, a staple in Steep if you remember. remember, and I hated every second of it. This game being no different, but that's not the story today. The next trophy I got was within my time playing the air careers, but actually from finishing 100 events without using backtrack. So yes, I did 100 events without failing. I know. I'm a sexy son of a bitch. Before finishing the air career, however, or actually even before receiving any trophies from it, I got a trophy just from finishing first in the invitational event. This is the quote-unquote final event in the game, but it's just gotten from reaching a high enough star level and being able to access it. Basically, you race through it with a bunch of different careers as a grand finale, even though we haven't finished all of the careers. What the hell, Ubisoft? Come on, man. So yeah, anyways, aside from this story not being canon at all, I would then just get 2 trophies from doing all of the big and boss events within the air career after. Poetic, some would say. I wouldn't. It was a fucking mess. But we are now done with all of the story trophies, if you want to call it that. So now it's time for stage 2, I guess, which doesn't really exist because you sort of have to just clean up anything left, which is mostly just a lot of matches in the mass race and some very annoying online trophies. So before all of that punishment, I made it my goal to avoid it and just do some easier trophies first. And I did this from getting 5 million points with the 1-foot board. This is just a special funky gear item you get for 75 stars in the game, and I just did tricks with it until reaching that 5 million point goal for this trophy. And then I decided that doing tricks for an hour to get that trophy also sucks, so I might as well just throw myself into the online trophies and get them over with. First, I went after those attributed to the Tricks Battle game mode. This is a dead game mode, by the way, in 2024, and you almost always need to wait 10 minutes at least for a match. Mostly because it requires like 12 players, I think, to play it, and there's barely 12 Riders Republic players to begin with. But once you do get a match, both trophies are just attributed to capturing things inside of the mode. The mode has you do tricks on rails, slopes, ramps, whatever, to claim them for your team's color. And by capturing those objects, as they say, you get a trophy for capturing things 100 times, which I got right here. So I only have 1 trophy left in this mode now, and it's from getting 30 districts captured, which is awful, might I add. A district is the entire area, not just capturing an object. You have to capture the whole thing and have it lock out with you being the last person to touch anything and change it over to your team's color. So it's not only hard, annoying, it also takes a bit of skill and timing, might I say even luck. But long story short, the worst part about this trophy isn't the skill needed, it's just having to wait forever in queues, and I mean forever. This took me so many hours to get, I ended up really catching up with my Netflix shows because I watched over 2 seasons of Dexter during this game's queue times, low-key feeling like a psychopath myself. But I would end up getting the 30 districts finally, and here's that trophy pop. I then did 3 easy trophies after, and to be honest, anything is possible now. I have done the hardest trophy in the game. Just kidding, I just wanted to say that so I'd feel better about myself. There's actually worse ones later, it's awful. Anyways, I'm getting off the point. The next trophy I got was just from completing 20 stunts, which are way easier than Steep's challenges, I think is what they call them. I then found 15 landmarks, which isn't hard at all. They literally show up on the map. And I also got a over 75,000 trick score, which is also super easy if you just grind down this pole, like your mom does at the strip club. Tell her I said hi. And that was it for the easy trophies because we are back into the suffering. My next one was actually the only co-op trophy in the game, and it's just from doing 10 rival races. I'm pretty sure that's what they called them, I can't remember. These races, though, are just a 1v1 between you and another player on your group or team. So huge shout out to this legend who has never played Riders Republic before, but was online when I was and offered to help. I love you. Just kidding, but here's the trophy. I then managed to complete 100 sponsor contracts next, which really isn't hard at all. They're almost all easy to do. The only hard part is having to wait 2 hours in between getting new ones. That's dumb. Anyways, there's that trophy. So we only have a few trophies left, to be honest. And before those torturous online ones, I decided to do a bit of a different level of torture. Collectibles. And this game has some of the worst I have ever seen an open world have. They don't show up on the map at all, and they don't really have any guides available on the internet to find them. Mostly because nobody cares enough to do it, which is understandable. Thankfully, I did find a few maps for them, however, and was able to also get a lot of collectibles within skate parks around the game. For some reason, these had a ton all over them, which was awesome since you only need 200 total, and there's like 500 or something overall. But yeah, there's the collectible trophy. Kinda sucked, but also wasn't as bad as the online ones we will do. Before that, though, I had reached the new weekly cycle in Riders Republic and got more challenges, so I did them and managed to get that 10th one done, so there's the trophy from that. But now all we have left is the dreaded online trophies. First one I did was from getting 50 user-created events completed, and this is where the tracking issue of these remaining trophies really just glared into your eyes and ridiculously did not care. Also, the only one was actually able to legitimately track with statistics like a nerd. In the Ubisoft Connect section, I had a challenge the game added in from completing 100 of these. Now, you only need 50 for the trophy, and just look at how many I did before it finally popped for quote-unquote doing 50. Yup. 38 more than I needed. Now just imagine that happens with a mass race trophy. 38 more, 30 minutes per race. You do the math, damn it. I'm not a happy camper anymore. In fact, I think at this point within my trophy hunting career, I've become numb to these things and the bullshit these games always have to make my life worse. That it does suck in the process of doing it, but now that I have the platinum, I literally just block it out subconsciously because my mind can't take anymore. I'm already insane. The only bright side to the mass race trophy, however, is that special races do indeed count. There's a lot of people online that say they don't, but they're lying. They do. And I know this because with the Riders Republic new update we just got, they took out the normal mass races completely and there's only special ones now. So I was literally forced to play the special ones. And I did get the trophy right here. I cried. Like, I actually cried, I'm not lying. That doesn't make me a bitch, it makes me a soldier, okay? Only real men cry. And my ex-girlfriend when I dumped her so I could play more Ubisoft games. F my life. So there's one trophy left, 50 matches of free-for-all. Free-for-all is just like the other online trophies. You can't get a match. Thankfully though, this one only has 6 players in it, so in theory it should be easier to get a game. Sadly, still nobody plays it, and at one point I waited 30 minutes for a match. Yes. That's not a joke. But like all things, it will happen with patience, and I finally got a trophy right here with the platinum added on in addition. So, the Riders Republic Platinum Trophy experience. I wouldn't even call it an experience, it was more of an observation since I spent more f***ing playtime waiting for matches than actually playing the game. Shout out Netflix. Dexter, you're f***ing insane, but I understand it now. Rating out of 10 is I don't give a f***.